Before I start, just let me give you one or two incidents from Vivekananda's life to show how stress, anxiety, all these can be overcome. And there were a number of people who used to come to Vivekananda who had such problems. And what were the pointers which he gave? You might have, those of you who have read something of his life, you might know the name of Madam Emma Carve. Yes, she was a famous opera singer in Swamiji's time. And she was a French opera singer who was very popular in the United States. So she was so popular. I was in the United States recently, and even now people remember her. So in her own time, she was a celebrity. And although she had everything that a human being could want, she was not happy, as many celebrities are. And she was depressed, and she had all the fame and fortune that a young person could have at that time. But she was over anxious. She was not an easy person to live with, actually. She had strong likes and dislikes, a very willful mind. And to top it all, so she would not get along well with people. And she had lost her daughter. So all this put together, and she went into a deep state of depression. And 4 times she tried to commit suicide, but failed. So that was another depression for her. And then she heard of Vivekananda, came to meet him. Now, as soon as she entered Vivekananda's room, Vivekananda was sitting there. He was a voracious reader, so something was in his hand. But he saw a very disturbing presence. And he looked up, and she was standing there, and he said, "My child, you carry such a disturbing atmosphere around you. Why should this be? Become calm, it is important." And then he said, "Learn to forgive. Learn to forgive. Learn to take your life into your hands. Become happy and gay again. Make peace with your mind, and everything will be all right. Life is to be celebrated. Why should we go into negativities and depression?" And many of these problems which are created by our minds, you see, the external factor is secondary many times. Our reaction, our response is primary. And that can be very explosive sometimes. So here we will try to see how all this yoga, Vedanta, all this help us in mind management. As soon as Vivekananda said these words, that lady calmed down. Vivekananda was a great yogi. He had that power. That lady calmed down. Later on, she writes in her reminiscences, "It is as it were he took away my sorrow from me. I have met this noble man who simply carried the weight out of my heart and gave me the peace and joy which a good life offers." Now, what did Vivekananda do to her that she became like this? Same case is that of Rockefeller. You know Rockefeller and the amount of contribution he has made to the modern world. He was the Bill Gates of his time. And he also, when he came to Vivekananda, by that time he was not the richest man as yet in America, but he was the owner of the Standard Oil Company who had given his entire life to building his business. He was also very willful and a go-getter and not very easy to get along with, but he amassed a huge fortune. Everything he had, but no peace of mind. Absolutely restless mind. And he didn't know what to do. He was just searching for solutions. Somebody told him a monk has come and living in this place, you go and meet him. And he said, "I don't believe in all that." But still he came because no other solution. And as soon as he entered Vivekananda's drawing room, Vivekananda was not there, he was in the study. So then he went there further. He just brushed aside the butler. He had his own way, It was quite impulsive. He went inside, and Vivekananda was sitting on a chair like this. And he didn't even look up. And Rockefeller came and stood in front of him. He just wanted to catch his attention. And then Vivekananda just lifted his eyes and detected the troubled atmosphere around him. And then he told him a few things which were private to Rockefeller. Only he knew of it, and maybe his family knew of it. And then he said, "I know what you lack. You lack peace of mind. You are the owner of so much, but the basic thing is not there with which you can enjoy life after amassing so much." And then Rockefeller said, "How did you know this?" And Vivekananda said, "I don't need somebody to tell me. I can see through you, as one can see through a glass case." And then he said, "Look, you have assumed you are the owner of your wealth. Remember this, you are not the owner of your wealth, you are the custodian of your wealth. and your wealth is not yours. It is meant for the people who are in need. It is passing through you. You are a trustee. You are a custodian, but you are not the owner. And you are meant to use that wealth for others, for those who are in need. And if you are not doing that, you will not find peace of mind. Rockefeller was not used to being advised. So he listened to all this and became very serious and abruptly left the place. After some time, after a few days, he came back with a huge check, and he came to the study of Vivekananda, and he threw a document in front of Vivekananda. Again, Vivekananda didn't lift his eyes, Then when he threw that document in front of him, he lifted up his eyes and he said, "Oh, you come again?" And he said, "Yes, look at this. I have made a huge donation to a public cause." And Vivekananda passed through it. Yes, he had made it. And then he said, "Okay, so then you can thank me for it." And Vivekananda said, "I should thank you? You should thank me. I have brought back your peace of mind." Rockefeller went on to become one of the greatest donors of his life. 550 million in those days, which I don't know will amount to how many dollars today. He donated. He was the Bill Gates of his time. And the last 4 years of his life were completely given to philanthropic work. He stepped out of his business, gave it off to his son, and finally decided to do something to bring cheer and happiness and fullness, a kind of fulfillment into his life. And towards the end of his life, he acknowledged this. Those powerful words of Vivekananda, you are not the owner of your wealth, you are the custodian of your wealth. Your wealth is meant to be used for people who are in need. That saved him, as it were, from his own mind. It is possible for our intelligence to turn against us if we are not trained in mind management. If we do not know certain basic facts about our minds, if we do not know certain basic facts about our life, it is possible for our intelligence to turn against us. No matter how much we are earning, 7-figure salaries, everything you have in life, but the essential thing will not come. If there is no stability of mind, you cannot even enjoy your plate of food, isn't it? If there is no basic calmness, you cannot enjoy even the little things of life. What to speak of the great joys of life? तो ये हमारे मन में आने के लिए there are certain basic things which we should know. How this mind works. What is it that satisfies it? And how do we create our sanskars? You see, there are people who do not have too much in terms of wealth, in terms of fame, fortune, but they are very happy and contented and givers, as Rockefeller became.